One interesting thing I also wanted to talk about you was about the Alchemy set that is now in Arena. So not only we have two dimensions to this, we have the Streets of New Capenna Alchemy, the draft, and we are going to have an Alchemy set. And you played the Alchemy Streets of New Capenna, right? I think I saw some streams of you playing it.
Yeah, I probably did play it. It's I did play some Alchemy. And now I'm kind of like more on the side, like I'm trying to avoid it if possible, because the cards are. My opinion is that the cards they add in dictate the format too much, right? It's really hard to just like you kind of have to play the cards they add in because they are too strong. At least some number of them in a deck. So those cards will dictate the decks. But yeah, to your point, I did play some.
No, that's what I was wanting to get into, just about your perspectives on this idea of having alchemy. Because I believe that one of the intentions of alchemy, at least how they market this, is to provide a mechanism to give balance to the set. Or in this case, to provide a mechanism to balance a set for drafting. You have the same cards that are used in Constructed and in Limited, and if in theory, if you have Alchemy, you can keep the card for Standard and then make a tweaked version that is fair for Limited. This could be the idea or the good intention or just the PR that they give us, but the moment that these Alchemy cards are busted, and some of them are, and I was watching you play, for instance, one deck with Arming Gala, the enchantment that puts creatures on everything you have on your deck.
Yeah.
That card is super broken. So you really have to play this card. So does Alchemy actually balance Streets of New Capenna, or it just skewed the power curve?
But the problem is they didn't really like. I think how this like balancing would be really beneficial for Arena would be if they didn't add like more powerful cards. They either add equally powerful cards, right? But the real balancing gets when they actually just balance the existing cards. They didn't need to add anything, right? They just needed to balance the existing cards. For instance, like you just fix some of the problems with New Capenna and you make it a great format. Which, by the way, I think like everybody is now on the agreement that New Capenna is one of the less balanced format, and either you like it or not, like it's also not the most popular format right now.
Okay, just a curious note on that. I remember a comment by Lola Man that said that was inevitable to happen because Neo was a great set. So Streets of New Capenna has this unluck of coming after Neo, which gives it an unfair comparison, or it puts the standards too high.
I really hated Neo. I think I even liked New Capenna more than Neo.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning, at least. Like now, I hate New Capenna, maybe even more. But Neo wasn't like a fun set to me. The problem with Neo was that there were literally just 3 archetypes. Like really, the real archetypes you faced. I mean, you could draft like samurais, but they weren't good. But it was red, good stuff, and ninjas basically. And problem is, all the good stuff decks had the same cards. So each game you face the same cards. Like you face Oaths, you face Beholds, you face you just played against the same deck like each game, and that like made it completely boring in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, some people will disagree, and I think I will disagree as well. I think Neo had amazing diversity. Of course, those were the busted cards, the Beholds, the Oaths. But I think you could make anything work, really.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm like, I mean, I don't want to convince anybody into having a different opinion. It's completely fine. That's my opinion. Everybody can have its own, right?
Yeah, and I don't disagree. Like, completely fine. Every opinion is personal, and every experience of the set is personal. So perfectly valid, no problem. So this was just to say that you think that Streets of New Capenna is a bad set and it needs balancing. So what exactly does it mean?
So yeah, on that point, yeah, I think like it would be better if they made like alchemy changes to the actual cards, right? So I don't know, for instance, either nerf Overseer, right, or even I don't know, like maybe even like adding a card like Overseer or Jewel Thief, or I guess Blue had the Echo Inspector, which was almost there with the Overseer, right, at common. But like when you look at Black and Red, they do have like good commons, but they don't have like a 2-for-1 commons. They have murder and strangle, so they would maybe need to like add either try to add black or red like a busted common, or like nerf one of the banned commons, or even like balance the multicolor cards a bit. But yeah, like there's not much needed to be done, and it could be like a really really good set, I think.
So this will be your expectation of what Alchemy should do, and not just put even more rares that are going to.
I mean, I would want that for Alchemy to do, but I think why they're adding all these powerful cards in and adding like new cards, because they want to make changes exciting, right?
And they probably want to sell the new cards. They want
and
to
they want to sell the new cards as well. But I wouldn't mind them adding new cards if they weren't more powerful than the other ones. Like, I don't think we're gonna get a set like just added a random Alchemy card to an existing booster. I think the new set is gonna be actual Alchemy set for drafting. I think that's gonna be a bit different, right? Because the problem, guess, if there's like one Alchemy card added to the existing set, like it was in New Copenhagen Alchemy, because that one card was almost like, I don't know, 90% of the time was just more powerful than anything else in the booster. And that's not balancing stuff. Like basically, they did the complete opposite with Alchemy. They basically made the things less balanced in terms of drafting, right?
Yeah. So like it exacerbated, or it made bigger the problem that was already. Would you be okay or open to the idea of Alchemy as rebalancing the already existing cards? Or would you prefer them to not exist or interfere with the limited experience at all?
Honestly, if it was done well, I wouldn't mind. But on the other hand, like, there's some edginess to not changing stuff and doing it like the old ways, right? And that means also like more pre-prep has to be done from their side, from the creator side, right? To test the format out. And I don't know, I think like that's maybe a better solution. Because like every other like then you're making Magic like on every other basically trading card game existing for like PC platform, right? You're like Hearthstone is like that. They change cards, right? I don't really play other card games, but like from what I heard, right? In other cards game they change cards all the time, like according to like if it's too powerful or not too powerful, right?
Like a hero in a MOBA, for instance.
Yeah, so I kind of like the idea that Magic was different or is still like this old school game. I kind of like that, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind if the Alchemy like rebalancing would be done in a tasteful way.
Yeah, so we will prefer things to kind of remain more or less the same.
Yeah, because then it also gets like more challenging for the creators. Like they need to put more work in before the set gets out if they want the set to succeed, and that's like. They will put more effort into that.
They want to make money. I think that's their main motivation, and I think we know.
Yeah, I mean,
very
like,
well
yeah, but like, I mean, everything works like that. It's hard to like, take anything away from that. But yeah,
one of the things that I think are currently a disadvantage with Alchemy cards is that they are going to have too much text, and I see that in the new set in the Baldur's Gate. Some cards just are walls of text, and especially that new mechanism that is specialized. I don't know if you have seen this yet.
I've seen one card that like turns into then four other cards or something.
5
like that.
Cards, because it's one for each color. And I thought it was only one card, but today, when I was preparing this conversation, I was looking into it in more details, and there's actually many cards with this. So it snowballs really fast. So you have one card that becomes 5 cards, and you have multiple of these cards with this mechanism. So it feels to me that the amount of learning and investment that you need to make to keep track of all these changes is growing really, really fast. And
I think I watched what's the guy again? Some content creator on YouTube, like actually explaining this so well. How Magic is already I forgot what's the guy's name. But he talked like something like, in a way, Magic is already complicated, and then you make it even more complicated. The problem gets that the actual layering and stuff is complicated. Like thinking in terms of like how like cards combine with each other. But the problem is now you will have to spend more of your brain capacity just reading the cards and like just like actually not making sure you're not punting on one of the little lines. And now it's like the whole book of text.
Yeah. So yeah, I absolutely agree. Like it's I think it's getting to a point where it's too complex to keep track of. For instance, these cards that you can discard a card of any color and it becomes a different effect. Some of them, for instance, there was this card named Viscoria, I believe. I think it was Viscoria that it had like 6 lines of text per color. And you can have up to 5 of these, plus the original one. And it's just too much. Let's say you are playing against a 5-color deck. How are you going to keep track of all the possibilities that you can have? So at least for my brain, maybe my brain is too small, but it's getting...
No, I'm also like really scared of that because I'm usually bad when it comes to... I usually miss stuff on cards. I'm just like, that's just my biggest flaw, I think, like ever. I don't know, maybe I don't focus enough. And when especially like in Cube, I notice that a lot because there like is a lot of different cards, and some of the cards you don't necessarily played with before.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem gets for me that I kind of almost assume what a card does, even though I read it, and then it does a different thing. And I punt so much on that, like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. Yeah, it's normal, but yeah, I also agree.
But yeah, to your point, that's gonna get more complicated here, and that's
I
maybe
think, I agree
not
with
a good thing.
that person that you were saying that you watched. That I think growing complexity in terms of text is not really good for Magic or for the format. For instance, the other mechanics like the arming gala, where you just put a counter on everything. Okay, it's broken, but it's easy to understand. You know what it does. Or the Eternals, that it reduces the cost of a card. Okay, that's easy to understand, but yeah, I think that I don't know how it will be received. Do you have any like expectations about this new set? Are you gonna play it?
Yeah, I'm gonna for sure play it, definitely. But I don't think Magic needs like Magic doesn't really lack complexity. That's the thing. I don't know why they wanna add complexity. I don't think that's gonna make it a better game.
Well, Magic
Like,
is pretty complex, but not. It's complex in the interactions that you have.
yeah, exactly. But that's the appeal of it, I think. Like that's in complex in that way. But like you said it, yeah. And we don't need more text on cards.